Hi. I just wanted to highlight real quickly. I understand why you don't research or look for reference videos because look here, I kept running into dead ends. So just keep on it. Have the patience to research and find stuff because when you find the right stuff, that's the right color scheme, it can really work. As far as I know, if you're doing 2D design, you can go ahead and you can bring actual photos like as a collage into your artwork, right? So just make sure that you modify it enough and it's correct appropriation. But really, design is about how we're going to organize things to kind of like create unity and cohesiveness, and like a sense of rhythm, right? And direct the movement of the eye. So we really want to see you like bringing in like different research, and you're taking all this stuff and you're organizing it like we did with the collage at the beginning of first semester. So we've been talking a lot about how do we use design and space to create more of an environment for our sustained investigation characters. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically taking the main protagonist in the sustained investigation and I'm copying visual elements so I can create more unity and create more of an environment. I felt like the blue was very heavy, so I suggested in the critique we have some kind of blue Bible to counterbalance, just because religion is a key point in the sustained investigation. We're also exploring repeating crosses. Now, right away, we should be thinking about a background. So I found this church with 1 point perspective with a similar color scheme, right? And a lot of lights, mediums, and darks. Now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna email my AP art friends to see if they think that this piece would be fine, and I'll get back to you on that. But as far as I know, using this is okay. Here, I'm really experimenting with the like lassoing tool, copying and pasting. Now it's very tedious at first, but once you get the hang of it, right, it can really, really help to create unity. I'm also using the color matching tone, and I'm kind of like organizing my layers. So make sure you're using the layer feature, right? And you're kind of deleting things, and I'm undoing things that aren't working. I decided to use the soft pastel feature after I merged all the layers to try to now blend my visual elements together. So it's one thing to have a collage, but how do you make it all connected? How do you unify it? Well, in order to create unity, you need groups, right? You need a limited color palette and you need repetition. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing colors with the color matching theory, and because the original piece was in pastel, I'm using the pastel tool to put a layer of pastel on the top. Right now I'm also looking, how do I repeat visual elements, right? So a really strong one is the circular movement that's going on in these eyes. Why not make that part of the environment? So you can go ahead, you could have 1 point perspective, but art's about layering. So you want to focus like, well, okay, well, how can I add another layer on top of what I'm doing to make it more connected? And all of a sudden it becomes very visually interesting. Now to create an even sense of balance, right, and unity, the repetition helps with unity, but I wanted to counterbalance, create weight. I also wanted to copy the Bible, put the Bible somewhere else. I accidentally copied a sliver, but that shard of glass that I accidentally copied, that experimentation in this revision process seemed to really work, and I really like that sharp light value kind of coming in. This creates convergence, right? So when you have a bunch of lines coming to the center, and when our protagonist is the vanishing point, right? That's convergence. Now I'm going ahead and I'm continuing to repeat like visual elements, like the Bible has this very marble texture. So I'm using the inking feature to kind of bring some of that texture like on top of everything to kind of make things layered. I also am using the blending feature, right? With like, I'm playing with the different tools to kind of give a wash and a blending texture on top of all of the elements to make this environment feel like kind of a murky and kind of overwhelming environment, which is the sense that I was getting from the artist when we were talking during the critique about her sustained investigation, right? I'm also undoing a lot of things. That made no sense. But basically, if it doesn't look right, undo it, right? That's what's great about the undo feature. We don't have to be so afraid. Again, I'm like looking for color balance. I am pulling in some of these darker blues, making sure everything kind of feels even, making adjustments, and really pulling back and seeing if my work is all connected. Is there an even amount of lights, mediums, and darks? Okay, this is about the end of the video. I cropped it and I sent it to you guys. Now, what are you gonna do? SI 13 is due. Make sure you're experimenting and revising. You got this AP Art. Bring your iPads.